Hello, welcome to today's People Chat. I am Lori Ruffin, the founder of the COO team, and we are excited to have today's People Chat. We're going to be talking about three reasons why every leader needs a people plan. So, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a small business owner, if you are a nonprofit leader, I want to invite you to share this broadcast to your page. There may be others that you know of that are in leadership positions and that are leading teams. And I'm here with Krystal Speed. She'll be joining us in just a moment to talk through three reasons why it's completely essential to have a people plan. So anyway, I'm really excited about our topic. I think it's really pertinent to anybody who's leading a group of people. And so we're going to get started. So, like I mentioned, I want to invite you to join our broadcast and share it.
Hi, Lori. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
And yeah, so I'm very excited to be able to join you today. Within our people chats, we talk a lot about the challenges that business leaders face. And, it's exciting to be able to talk through this particular topic because this is something that will completely change the game for business leaders or leaders in any realm in regards to being able to meet their people needs and really thinking strategically and proactively about best practices that help with that. So, like I said, I'm glad to join you. And for those of you who are joining us, as we go through, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them in the chat box and we will respond. This is an opportunity for you to learn more about some tools and resources that will help you take your people and your organization farther faster.
Yes. So, Krystal, I was just telling the people that today we're going to be talking about three reasons why every leader needs to have a people plan. So, I'm really excited for us to drop in. Again, thanks so much for joining us. If this is your first time joining us, we are the COO team, Krystal Speed, your HR strategist, and I'm Lori Ruffin, the founder of the COO team. Would love for you to just push share. That way you can always come back to this video, and then you also can share the goods with others who might benefit from the broadcast. So without further ado, Krystal, let's jump in. What are the reasons why people need a people plan?
Okay, so there are really three top reasons why an individual leader would need a people plan to really help their organization. So, based upon conversations that we have with leaders all the time, there are some key things that consistently come up in regards to the challenges that they experience. Typically, it's challenges with where do we find the right people? How do we get them onboarded so that they're contributing at high levels? And how do we grow them, keep them, help them to become contributing members of our organization? So a people plan really targets those. So the first benefit or reason why you need a people plan is because it provides a hiring roadmap. And so what do I mean by that? Within your people plan, you're able to target talent and really thinking through, okay, what are the needs that we have for our team, not only today, but through the next 24 to 36 months. Being able to think strategically and being future focused about the individuals that are necessary to be on your team to really help drive your mission forward and being able to really crush those strategic goals that you have. So this talent plan portion of your people plan really looks at giving you a hiring roadmap, who you should hire, the types of skills, experiences, and abilities that you would want in your organization, and also gives timing around those hiring decisions. It also helps you think proactively about where do these people hang out? Where would I find these types of individuals to really help my organization grow and to realize impact in the areas that we are working and making change within the world. So really, it just helps provide that benchmark or that roadmap, that plan that will really support that. So the benefit of this, like when you think about hiring, whether it's a need that has just surfaced or it's a need that has come about based upon some type of transition with the organization, research shows that the cost of rehiring or hiring an individual can be anywhere from like $3,300 for a low wage individual up to almost 200% of the annual salary for an executive leader. So that's a large range. So you're looking at, some significant costs related to hiring or rehiring for a particular position. Now, the value of this people plan and this hiring roadmap is you've already done some of that work where you're pipelining individuals. Typically, on average, it's 36 days that individuals have when they're looking for hiring. So it's 36 days to fill a position. With a plan already in place, you're able to cut down on that time. Each day has a dollar associated with it. So the less time that you have to contribute to finding someone and getting them on your team, the more money that you're kind of saving. Now, with this people plan and the talent portion of the people plan, as I mentioned, you're thinking very strategically through the types of skills, abilities, and experiences that you will need on your team. You're already starting to network and pipeline, getting people primed for these opportunities. So whether it's something that just came up because of client requirement or because someone is transitioning out of the organization, you already have a list or a pool of people, so to speak, that you're able to glean from. So it's not like you're starting over from scratch. Many organizations find themselves starting over from scratch when they have a people need that arises. So this really helps you be proactive, future focused, strategic, and doing some of that work because, transition is going to happen. So why not already have a plan in place to really be able to target that when it does happen? So that first reason is to have a hiring roadmap.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, we've kind of spoken about this from the perspective of hiring, but how would you say this applies to a nonprofit organization that might be planning their people needs may fall into the category of volunteers, especially long range, like maybe they're launching a new opportunity. Like, could you just briefly talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So the process is the same, whether it's a paid position or a volunteer position. You'd really want that talent portion of your people plan to target what are those skills that are necessary and the timing around it. And then you're able to really be very focused around the types of individuals that you would recruit for volunteer opportunities. Also, it helps by thinking like, traditionally we might have thought of this as a paid role, but this is really something that could be a volunteer role or aspects of a role that can then be transitioned into a volunteer role. So with doing this strategic people planning and the talent portion, it really helps you understand what's the best mix for your organization based upon your size and your maturity level, where you are as like developmentally as an organization, and being able to plan very future focused and strategically and meeting those. So whether it's paid or volunteer, whether it's a general volunteer or even board related positions, the process is the same in regards to having a talent plan that's future focused and strategic.
That's great. Good to know that. Thanks so much, Krystal. So, what is the second reason? Why do leaders need a people plan?
Okay, so the second reason why you need a people plan is because you need to be able to know the best practices and integrate best practices into what you're doing to really target your people needs. So there are many different ways that we look at engaging, onboarding, and growing, developing our people. And so if you are going to have an HR professional on your team, it would be thousands of dollars that are associated with that particular role. And so you're definitely gleaning the expertise from the individual who's bringing in those best practices. With the people plan, we've integrated best practices into each of the modules, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but we've integrated best practices into each of the areas of the people plan that you're developing. And so you have me, your HR strategist, who's being able to bring in those best practices. So a couple of things that I really like to focus on is one, what I call your level of maturity as an organization, or just kind of where you are in your life cycle. Many times as leaders, especially if we're gaining intelligence from others in our field or hearing about different tools and resources that are available, we see what has worked in other organizations and say, oh yeah, we need to go ahead and bring that into ours, without accounting for our level of maturity. Okay, so sometimes it might be a really great tool, but it's not the right time for you to bring it into your organization. There are some other key things that are probably foundational that need to be addressed prior to bringing those tools in. Also, when you think about best practices, we've done some of the research around what is really helpful for organizations, what is best for your stage of development, and being able to really look at, okay, what are some tools and strategies that are going to support you in that stage of development, and then also as you mature into that next stage. So one particular example is definitely, I'll go back to hiring. So a lot of times with hiring, individuals will look at the job boards that are getting quite a bit of response. So let's say LinkedIn Recruiter, Monster, Zip
Indeed.
Recruiter. Yes, indeed. So, those job boards do exist. And so when we have an opportunity that comes up, we're quick to run to these job boards. But new hires, candidates that are actually hired, only 14 to 15% are accounted from job postings. So there are other strategies, other tools that organizations should utilize, especially small businesses and nonprofits, that can get their opportunities in front of the right people. And so best practices would tell us that employee referral programs are a large percentage of where organizations are getting individuals to fill these needs. Also being able to develop relationships that grow over time. So whether that's through organizations and associations that individuals with a particular skill set are associated and affiliated with, and having those relationships and growing them and pipelining those individuals so that they're primed for when your opportunities come up. Those are things that we would look at. So again, within the talent portion of our people plan, we really look at, okay, for your organization, what makes sense for where you are currently, what your strategic goals are, and the types of individuals that you would need. What makes sense for where you should be focusing your recruitment efforts versus looking at kind of what are the hot items or what everybody else is doing. You really customize and focus in on what works for you, utilizing some of those statistics and best practices, and looking at how do you streamline it so that it really fits within your organization.
I think that really makes sense, Krystal. One of the things that you said that I want to circle back to is just the idea of grabbing a tool and trying to implement it. I feel like the right tool at the wrong time can end up equaling waste.
Yeah.
Because it's like if it's not right size for your organizational stage, it could be totally overdone or even not enough for where your unique organization is. So I think it's really good to leverage best practices in general because you're not recreating the wheel. We're utilizing approaches that have been tested and proven by other organizations, but they're appropriately applied at the right stage so that people can build in sequence. I think that really makes a whole lot of sense. So what would you say is the third reason why people really need to have leaders in particular, whether it's business or nonprofit, need to have a people plan?
This is perhaps my favorite reason. All of them are great reasons, but this is perhaps my favorite, that having a people plan in place really helps you fast track your growth. One of the, I would say, key differentiators of a people plan is that it is aligned with your strategic goals, where you're going as an organization. There is mission alignment, there's value alignment, and strategic directional alignment. And so with this people plan, you're really looking at what are the processes, the systems, the tools, the resources that are necessary to really help, one, my people to be able to contribute at high levels to the mission and realizing impact in whatever it is that we're doing. And also, how do we integrate it in such a way that it's really supporting our company and being our organization and being efficient, effective, and really being able to fast track our growth and realizing our goals. So, yeah, that's what I love about the people plan, because it's very much aligned and giving you the tools and resources needed to do what needs to be done to really ensure that you're growing well and that you're growing in a way that really helps accelerate your growth. Many times we'll bring different systems or processes into our organization that aren't necessarily aligned or don't necessarily support the strategic direction. And when that happens, there creates either rework or just a fit that isn't good. Like the fit just doesn't sit well, which can cause us to not grow at the pace that we need to, or even stagnate our growth a little bit. So a people plan just helps you really fast track that.
I think it makes sense, because a lot of times organizations that are having people challenges are dealing with things like high turnover, low retention rates. And because there is a cost associated with finding new talent, retraining, even rebuilding organization morale, it's so important to be intentional and be proactive. So thankfully, we have something that we can offer our listeners today. We are really excited. We did some research back in the fall that really helped us understand that two of the critical areas where people are having, nonprofit leaders in particular and small business leaders are having people challenges, are in the area of talent acquisition and development, and as well as ethos development. And so that's talking about culture. It's the difference between McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. Like, that's so my go-to metaphor. McDonald's, the same everywhere around the world. They've got their systems down. You kind of know what you're going to get. However, Chick-fil-A is always such a delightful experience because they invest so much in their culture. And so a lot of small organizations, like Krystal, like you mentioned, to have somebody who is a trained HR expert in a position in an organization can easily cost upwards of $80,000, and that's not even including salary and benefits. And so the total cost of having that kind of person, that brain power, that brain trust on board is extremely expensive. So I think that I'm really excited that we have been able to really boil down some more of those strategic components of a people plan and really be able to package that up for organizations that are a lot smaller, so they can have the systems and the ways of operating, the processes of larger, more financially well-endowed firms, but they can develop that at a fraction of the cost. And so with that, we'd love to share with you all. We're really excited. We are piloting. We have a beta experience for the COO team People Academy. And basically that is starting on Monday, the 8th. And so we are really excited about that. In essence, it is the process, a 90-day process to develop a people plan. We will develop, make sure that I name all the aspects.
No problem.
First, we're going to start with the diagnostic to really take in what people systems and processes do you have in place, and what's the status of those? Are they strong? Are they weak? Where are the gaps? And so we're going to establish that right out the gate. Then we move on to talent planning, where we look to 24 to 36 months. What are all of the people needs, whether it's employees, contractors, part-time? What are all the people that we're going to need to move the mission forward, looking at the soft skills and the hard skills that are required for those roles? Where do we find them? Can we find them internally, externally? All of those pieces are part of the talent plan. And then we move on to, onboarding. Yes. What do we need to do to onboard and get somebody up to speed very quickly. What does that first 90 days look like as an organization when we've made the hire? We're excited about bringing someone in. How do we get them ready to really be able to contribute value to the organization? And so then we also move on to communications. We're going to be looking at what are the conversations that we need to be having within our organization, and what tools can we use to make sure that our team members stay aligned and on board. And then we're going to also address ethos. Name for this, but this whole ethos infusion. How do we distill the secret sauce of our organization so that outsiders that come in, that join our team, can really reflect the culture and the values that we espouse to as we're serving our clients. We're also going to look at performance, the whole performance review process, which often can be such a dreadful process. People, anticipate I'm going to have a performance review meeting, and they feel so overwhelmed and so terrible about it. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to have that stigma. We can have totally affirming as well as constructive conversations with our team members to really improve performance. And so these are the different types of plans and the different processes that we're going to be developing over the 90-day experience. Did I leave anything out, Krystal?
No, so you covered what we will be covering in that 90-day experience, which is such a wealth of information that you'll be provided, and you'll be able to actually do the work so that you're implementing it within your organization. And one of the great features of the People Academy is that you're doing this alongside other leaders. So not only are you getting best practices and support from an HR strategist, me, but you're also being able to share, collaborate, and also have a certain level of accountability around the cohort that you're with. So we have the teaching moments, if you want to call it that. So we'll have a week where we have content, and then you'll leave with the make it happen steps, your homework to really start implementing it. And then the following week, those alternate weeks, we'll have office hours. So times for you to be able to ask questions, being able to problem solve, how different things are going, how your plan is developing, how you're engaging your team members in this development process, and being able to share with other leaders to really glean intelligence and insight from that. And I think that is one of the key features that makes the People Academy such an excellent investment, because you're able to share and learn from other leaders, as well as having HR expertise right at your fingertips. So the 90 days is a really great accelerated process to be able to help your organization grow, to fast track that growth, and being able to have these tools in place that you can utilize not only those 90 days, but in the years to come as your organization continues to grow and realize impact. So it's really a game changer for your organization, and it's an excellent opportunity that we're really excited to be able to share. So.
Yes, yes. So if you are an organization that are having any sort of people challenge, whether it's high turnover or they're just trying to grow their team and say, oh my goodness, I, the executive leader, and maybe two people are working over, I don't know what the word I was getting ready to say, but overtime to try to just get done the things I need to get done. That's a sign that they need to have a people plan. And so we're really excited. We are accepting up to 10 beta participants in this round of the People Academy. So what you can do is we're going to drop into the comments a link where you can schedule a 30-minute session, a discovery session with Krystal to determine whether this is a good fit for you and your organization. And like we said, it doesn't matter if you're a small business or a nonprofit. If you are a leader of a team and you're looking to fulfill a mission, then you need a people plan. Bottom line, no questions asked. The question is this the right time for you? Do you have the time to set aside to build those systems and to transition from being reactive to being proactive, such that you can have that all-star team in place to crush those goals, to execute your mission and serve the people that your organization is designed to serve? So with that, we want to thank you for being a part of today's People Chat. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for dialing in. We want to encourage you, if you're still watching, it's not too late for you to share this broadcast, because guess what? There is an executive leader somewhere who is struggling, dealing with all kinds of people drama, and they don't have to be, because we are able to help them to get those systems and processes together so that they can be a little bit more like ahead of the curve as they navigate these people challenges. So with that, we're so glad to be with you. Also, tomorrow I will let you all know that we are having an executive director meetup. If you go to www.executivedirectormeetup.com, you can register for a free webinar. We're going to be focusing, for the nonprofit folks, we're going to be focusing on fund development. So I want to encourage you to dial in for that, for those of you who need to raise funds. So glad to be with you.
Yeah,
Always glad to
thank
be
you
with
for
you,
having
Krystal.
me. And it was just so fun to be able to share those 3 reasons why you need a people plan. It's something that you should not operate your business without. So look forward to seeing who joins us for this first beta round of the People Academy. And as Lori said, we'll share that link with you so that you can sign up for your discovery call.
Yes. Thanks so much, Krystal. Until next time. Right,
Take
bye.
care. Bye.
You too.